The art of PR, building relationships versus gaining publicity. Welcome to MarComTech-niques, a podcast about marketing communications and technology, with special series on thought leadership. Be sure to follow us on social media and on your favorite podcast platform. I'm your host and executive producer, Jacqueline Carmona. Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to talk about personal branding and oversharing. While I've always been a very private person all of my life, you will find out that in today's market, that is non-existent. If you don't reveal who you are, then data brokers will do it for you, and not so much on how you want them to do it. If you are a blank slate and no one knows anything about you, then you are a blank canvas to your competitors to shape your public image on how they see fit for their competitive edge. If there are financial situations that came about, whether personal or business, people will always want to know if they can trust you with their brand, their money, their investments. In order to move forward and gain opportunities, sometimes you have to reveal past mistakes, especially if it's public information already. And most importantly, you have to guard and protect your brand. Most people do not understand that your actual brand is called goodwill on your business balance sheet. It is an intangible asset recorded that represent dollar amounts of your reputation, customer loyalty, and management expertise. This is why it's important to understand the difference between public relations and publicity. When we are using podcasts for our business, it is usually considered a marketing tool, but I wanted to use it more on a public relations side than publicity or marketing. Yes, I provide marketing communications, but with more public relations, making sure I create relationships with my audience and provide different examples of thought leadership. Because not everyone's journey is aesthetically perfect. Therefore, one guideline for thought leadership will not work for every type of person or brand. Creating conversations in story forms grabs your audience's attention, holds it, and keeps them wanting more. Stories motivate people as well. It helps create imagination and creates a trajectory for visionary possibilities for your audience. So you must consider, do you want straight out of the gate on branding, be immediately personable in your brand or aesthetically perfect, and where that might cause issues if you have underlying factors that are not within your control? There will always be underlying human experiences. So remember that when branding yourself. So let's get into it. What is public relations? As the name infers, it is to have a relationship with your audience. It involves researching and evaluating what works for your audience. Audiences can range from the public, as the name infers, customers, investors, employees, and media. How will your message resonate with each of these different audiences? Some of the public relations channels are press releases, media release, social media, and personal interactions like events. Depending on the organization and industry, there might be a media relations professional dedicated for that specific task. It helps manage your reputation, which is part of your goodwill on your balance sheet, establishing a relationship with your audience. It also helps establish trust with potential stakeholders like sponsors and investors. Public relations can provide information on financial performance and strategic direction, also called investors' relations for bigger companies. Some industries have extensions called government relations, in which it helps influence government policies such as taxation and regulation. Depending on your industry, the size of the company, and its interests, Public relations has a wide range of additional considerations, which also includes communications, in which it's more an internal communication with internal departments. There's no one perfect structure in how to organize each one, but it is really up to the industry and the actual company to make up their own organizational chart on how they want to manage each type of department or house everything under communications, public relations, or marketing. There's a lot of debate in which one is more important. I will say that public relation is closer to branding than marketing, which is closer to sales and supports branding, but public relations manages the image of branding. And to our next part of the episode, which is publicity, does not involve having a relationship with your audience. It is more about being seen, creating awareness of you and your brand, but not necessarily providing an understanding on who you are or what you stand for. The easiest way to gain publicity is by doing social trends on social media or advertisement. TikTok is great for publicity because of the dance trends. Publicity is ads from magazines that you pay to be featured on versus having you be featured organically on a magazine. Organic features occur when a magazine discovers and showcases a business or an individual without prior arrangements or payment. I'm bringing this up because there's currently being overused as public relations when it's not organic in nature and falls more in publicity and ads. You're literally paying for ads to feature you as a story versus having the story featured organically from the publisher. Again, the difference between public relations and publicity. Public relations focus on creating a relationship with your audience, which helps manage future crises because they have invested interest in you through forging a relationship with them. And because of that, it helps manage reputation, which is your goodwill on your balance sheet. It is part of your assets in your company. It helps in crisis communication situations in which you have to deal with perhaps a reporting agencies. Some are like the Better Business Bureau, which does not have any legal effect on a business like other reporting agency does. But by having a real plan, it will take you from publicity to real public relations. Always treating people with consideration and simply talking to them in a human way can solve more problems than you might think and save you more money in the long run. Businesses are here to solve problems for people, and people should not be the enemy for your brand or your company in terms of journey. Your customers should not be your enemy. Several years ago, an airline CEO was trying to fix a sinking airline. And what he did was pure and simple and the basics in which he humanized the people he was serving. He was in his big corner office, but he got on the floor, spread all the folders of the complaints from all of the customers, rolled up his sleeves, and started to call customers and ask more details about their complaints it would take to keep them flying the airline. He turned the airline around because the people he was serving were not his enemy, but his biggest asset in turning a profit while helping people travel with ease. Consider this when someone tells you something about your business. If your customers are upset and angry, that is a good thing because that anger still shows passion for your company or brand. They want it to work, but they are frustrated that it's not working for them or frustrated they invested in your services or products and the outcome was not there for them. That is why it's better than having an indifferent customer who just wants their money back. Loyal customers will be passionate. They are the ones you want to turn around and keep. And if done properly, they will talk about how you turn them around with your exceptional customer service. It beats going into crisis communication mode. Passionate, angry customers are untapped company brand ambassadors. This is where a positive mindset and dealing with customers work more than not. Remember, whether it is a personal brand or a business brand, since branding is goodwill on your balance sheet, you have a fiduciary responsibility to your stakeholders, investors, clients, and employees to uphold the value of your brand. That means clearing up any appearances of improprieties that can affect the value of your brand. Forming a crisis communication strategy is necessary to ensure you maintain the value of your brand. But the best crisis communication strategy is understanding the human experience, the human journey, and honoring it as a leader. Thank you for joining us on our podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media and follow us on your favorite podcast platform.